Hi, Simon Chapple here. I'm the Quit Alcohol Coach, and as always, I want to make sure that you smash your sobriety. Today, I wanted to give you 12 tips to help you quit alcohol easily and to make sure you break that habit that you might have had for a long, long time. I had a drinking habit for well over 20 years. I drank every single day red wine, usually anything from 1 to 3 bottles with beer and sometimes spirits on top. And I was able to break my drinking habit. You can break yours too. Listen to these 12 steps that will take you through the exact process that I used to ensure that I never drank again. And I didn't feel deprived. I felt absolutely empowered and passionate about the change that I was making to my life. Before I do that, if you enjoy the videos on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon to ensure that you get notified when new videos come out. There's new videos released every Tuesday and every Thursday. And if you're interested in quitting drinking, you absolutely want to make sure you get notified. So you can see on the side of the screen right now exactly how to do that in just a couple of clicks. And if you feel like you need more support with quitting drinking, check out my Quit Drinking program. The website address is on the screen right now. You can join absolutely free for 14 days. Try the program to see if it's a good fit for you. And I'm sure you'll discover that it really is as powerful as I say it is, and all the other people who use it say it is. We've had some amazing feedback and wonderful testimonials about the program. So I'd love you to try that out for yourself too. So let's get into these 12 tips. Now, I've put this video into 2 parts because I wanted to make sure I covered everything thoroughly. So as you get to the end of the video, simply click on the link that will take you to the second part. So there's 6 tips in each video. The first tip I want to share, and this is absolutely vital, is all about your perspective, the perspective that you've got around alcohol. When we're drinking, it's as if we're looking through our life with a set of blinkers on. We can only see alcohol. Everything revolves around it. And part of this process is changing your perspective, removing the blinkers, becoming open-minded to new ways of thinking and looking at things from a totally different viewpoint. It makes so much difference. And I really want you to get motivated and excited about everything that you would gain from an alcohol-free life instead of feeling like you're losing something. And it's really important that you take that approach, because if you come into this thinking that you're having something taken off of you, you're being deprived of your old friend who's looked after you for years, who you can't have fun without or you can't de-stress without, then you're going to find it tough. You're going to be relying on willpower, and over time, willpower wears out. And I wouldn't want that for you because it's a really uncomfortable experience. So get to work on changing your perspective. And every time something comes up, such as a negative thought or some kind of discomfort, emotion or feeling, or maybe you start thinking to yourself that life was better when you were drinking, because we do have some difficult times in the early stages of sobriety where it can be very easy to think like that. We can also start to glamorize it and look back at our old life with rose-tinted spectacles. Use that as a trigger to remind yourself how bad it really was when you were drinking and how much you're going to gain when you quit drinking. They need to be your triggers to do those things. And you'll also find a whole bunch of tactics right here on my YouTube channel that will talk you through dealing with things like cravings, uncomfortable feelings, overwhelming thoughts, so that you're absolutely set for success as you move into sobriety. There's also videos about changing your mindset as well, which is what I'm talking about right now. Changing your mindset means changing your perspective. Instead of looking at your life through a very thin telescope, start to open it up so you can see the picture of the whole world. Because the fact is, many of us heavy drinkers are hanging on to beliefs that actually don't serve us. They're beliefs that are completely untrue, such as, I can only have fun if I drink, I can't go out socially without drinking, alcohol eases my anxiety. The list is endless, but we tend to believe these things and we become set in our ways. We're not open to changing or to having our beliefs challenged. So it's important that you come into this with a really open mind and the ability to at least listen to the thoughts around your beliefs and have a sense that you're open enough to maybe have your beliefs challenged, maybe even proactively look to challenge your beliefs. Really be open to seeing how true they really are. Start to gather evidence. As I say, there's a whole bunch of videos that will talk you through your mindset and dealing with any difficulties that come up in the early stages of sobriety right here on my channel. But the first tip in this video is all about changing your perspective and working on that mindset. The second step is all about understanding that the first week or two after we quit drinking can result in some uncomfortable feelings, difficult emotions, and cravings to drink. If you're prepared for that in advance, then you can easily overcome it. If you just quit drinking and don't educate yourself first or spend some time learning tactics on how to deal with these things, then you might find it difficult and you might end up finding yourself in a place where you think taking a drink is the only solution. It's the only way out. It's absolutely not the only way out. It's just going to put you right back where you were. So I want you to feel ready. I want you to know that there probably will be some tough times in that first week or two, and that you're going to probably need to dig your heels in. And there's times when you're going to have to weather the storm. And the key to all of it is knowing that that storm will pass. It doesn't last forever. Cravings don't last forever. And again, there's a bunch of videos on my channel that will help you learn how to handle cravings, deal with discomfort, and get over overwhelming thoughts without letting them ruin your day or take you back to feeling like you need to drink or that drinking alcohol is the only solution. In my experience from working with many people who've quit drinking, the toughest days are the third to the fifth day. We can feel really emotional. It can feel like a tough challenge. And it's so important to know that it is probably going to feel hard during that point. But you have to know that it passes. It comes to an end. It's not a permanent state. And you'll notice that those cravings, emotions, and feelings, they're not coming as frequently as they were. As the days pass, the space between them gets longer. The length of time they last gets shorter. It gets easier. And by the end of the first week, we're usually 60 to 70% more mentally resilient and mentally tough than we were at the start. So know that you're getting stronger and you're building confidence, you're building internal strength as you go forward on the journey. But I want to make sure that you're fully prepared and you can deal with anything that's going to come up in the early stages. And the best way to do that is to learn about it. Watch videos like the ones on my channel. Read books about quitting drinking that share tactics and tips and tools that are going to help set you up for success. Connect with other people who are where you want to be, maybe people who've been sober for a long time, and see what you can learn from them. Find yourself a mentor, make yourself accountable to people. There's so many things you can do to set yourself up for absolute success in sobriety. And that leads me nicely to the third step. The third step is making sure you've got a sense of connection. I don't want you feeling like you're going it alone. When we do something on our own, it can feel really, really tough. When we've got other people around us doing the same thing, it makes it that bit easier. I used to do a lot of marathon running, and it would mean that I had to go out on my own on cold, rainy, windy days, plodding out there in the middle of nowhere for 2, 3, sometimes even 4 hours with nobody around me. It was tough. It felt really, really hard. And I'd often just want it to end. I just want to be back home with a nice cup of tea or sat in a warm bath. When it came to actually doing the event, and there were 10, 20,000 other people doing it at the same time, even though I was running further than the training runs, it just felt so much easier. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Ensure that you're doing this with other people, that you've got connections, support, accountability. And a great place to do that is by joining some Facebook sober groups. You're more than welcome to join my Facebook group, which is called Be Sober, BE Sober. Just look it up on Facebook. It's totally free to join. There's well over 10,000 members in the group and people from all over the world. So you'll easily be able to find new friends, people that you can make yourself accountable to, people who will be willing to mentor you, take you under their wing and help you on your own journey. But whatever you do, don't go this alone. There's so many people out there who are ready, willing, and actually looking for people that they want to help, people that they want to connect with. So take advantage of that. Now, my fourth step is if you were a ritualistic drinker. And what I mean by that is if you were a drinker who followed the same routine every single night, then this tip is most definitely for you. I would drink every evening. I would start about the same time. I'd sit in the same chair in my living room. I'd have the same glass and I would pour the wine, drink the wine, pour some more, drink some more, and keep going until the wine ran out. I did it as a ritual. And by the end, my tolerance was so high that it took me at least 2 bottles to even start to feel any sort of effect from the alcohol. But we can create a new ritual. And I highly recommend looking at the alcohol-free drinks. And I don't necessarily mean alcohol-free beers and alcohol-free wines. They might work for you, they might not. I suggest looking at things like botanical drinks, alcohol-free spirits, which don't taste like spirits. They've got a unique taste all of their own. Having your own special alcohol-free glass, which is your glass. I've got one of my own and absolutely no one in the house is allowed to touch it. And I have my alcohol-free drinks in there. Because when we stop drinking, it leaves a kind of void if you were a ritualistic drinker. And you don't want to be sat there with idle hands, wondering what to do with yourself. If you've got a new drink in a nice bottle with no alcohol in it and a lovely glass, you can still repeat that same ritual and it has that sense of familiarity about it. And you kind of forget that it hasn't got alcohol in it. As long as it tastes great, you just enjoy it. You enjoy it for what it is. And I'm speaking from personal experience. This made a huge difference to me. So don't underestimate the power of finding a new alcohol-free go-to drink and having a lovely glass that you can enjoy that in every evening or during the day if that was what you did. Allow it to fill the void and take the time to explore all the incredible flavors of alcohol-free drinks that are available now. There's another video on my channel which shares reviews of some of the best alcohol-free drinks and talks more in depth about the benefits of non-alcoholic drinks. So I urge you to check that out if it's something that you think is going to help you on your own journey. Step number 5 is all about your environment. It can be really easy to keep that old bottle of wine in the cupboard or to keep a bottle of champagne that somebody gave you for Christmas in the fridge for a special occasion. But if we do those things, we're always going to be using willpower. We're always going to see the alcohol and we're always going to think to ourselves, well, I could just have it. I know it's there. Whereas if we create an environment for success by removing all the alcohol from our house, it completely takes temptation out of the way. And you can take this one stage further as well. And I'd recommend writing it down. Take the time to identify all of the places, all of the people, all of the thoughts, all of the feelings, anything you can think of that could potentially compromise your sobriety. Be really honest with yourself. Who are the people that might pressure you to drink? Or if you're in their company, you'd feel a sense that you needed to drink. What are the places? I've known people who become triggered to drink when they drive past a shop where they used to buy alcohol from. Other people might see an advert for alcohol on a billboard or hear something on the radio. It could even be a particular song. If we take the time to identify all of the things that could potentially trigger us, then we can take steps to remove those obstacles out of our own way before they even come up. You're actually removing the need for willpower by doing this. And it really is a sensible step. I've known some people even give their partners their credit or debit cards in the early stages so that they're not even able to go and buy alcohol. And again, be really honest with yourself. If you feel you need to do that, then do whatever you need to do. And actually do an appraisal of how far you would be willing to go. Would you push your partner to go and buy alcohol for you? Have you taken the time to set expectations of your partner? You may need to sit them down and ask them to really help you on this and be quite vulnerable and explain that you need them to be there for you. And no matter how much you ask them to buy you alcohol and how much it seems like you mean it, you need them to stand strong. You need them to say no to you. If you don't take the time to prepare for this, it can be so easy to take advantage of a weakness that you've left in your plan. That could just be an old bottle of champagne that you've left in the garage, or a bottle of spirits that you never thought you would drink before, but you have no other alcohol. The feelings are kind of overwhelming at the moment and you think that's the only solution. If you've got nothing in the house, you've got no way of getting your hands on it, you're not putting yourself in front of the people, the places that trigger you, then the chances are it's going to be so much easier and you're not going to be relying on willpower as much as you would if you were seeing these things, experiencing these things and running into the people that might pressure you. And that's not to say you don't ever have to be friends with those sort of people again, but certainly in the early stages, you need to protect yourself. And it may be an idea to keep some distance between you and anyone who's going to pressure you to drink or you might feel like drinking around. My sixth step is to avoid temptation. And this is similar to what I was talking about with environment. It doesn't make sense to repeat your old routines. If your old routine was going to the pub every day, you're going to probably sit there feeling pretty miserable and eventually you're going to cave in. You're going to end up taking a drink. You might have heard the phrase, if we sit in a barber shop for long enough, we're going to get a haircut. Well, the same applies. And if you've got any boozy nights out planned for the first 30 or so days, I'd recommend switching them for something else, something more healthy, something that's going to bring you real joy. In the first couple of months after I quit, I didn't go to any social events where I knew that alcohol was going to be center stage. I stayed away. I protected myself. Sure, these days I can go to a pub or I can go to an event where people are drinking and it's absolutely fine. But I'll only do that if I feel like I'm going to get something out of it and it's an event I actually want to go to. Because what you'll find when you quit drinking is drunk people are actually really annoying and you probably don't want to spend too much time around them. So what I did in the early stages, I had a couple of boozy nights out planned with my friends. I told them I wouldn't be going because I was taking a break from drinking, and I took my son bowling. I went out on a date night with my wife to the cinema instead as well for one of them. So get it down, write it down in your journal, and you should be journaling every day. It's absolutely crucial. Write it all down and identify anything that poses a threat, any nights out you've got planned or social events you've got coming up, and switch it for something else. Go and do something different, something that brings you real joy. So that's the first 6 steps to successfully quitting drinking without the need for willpower and for doing it in a way where you feel really motivated, really excited about a change that you're making for you. I like to see it as a lifestyle choice. This isn't some sense of deprivation. I don't see it that I'm an alcoholic or I'm in recovery forever. I've made a passionate and powerful choice that I've made for me and for nobody else. And I'm really excited and motivated by that. And I want you to feel the same, because when you get in that right headspace, this can feel like one of the best things that you've ever done. Whereas you probably know if you're going out for the evening, for example, to a party, and your mindset is that you're going to have a miserable time, you're not going to enjoy yourself, inevitably that's what happens. Whereas if you go to a party and your mindset is that you're going to have a great time, you're going to absolutely love it and you can't wait to be the first one on the dance floor and the last one off, you're probably going to have an amazing time. Our expectation shapes the experience we have, and that was why I put that as the very first step in this, because if you can get that mindset right, everything else will follow. So really work on that motivation. And now I want you to move on to part 2 of this video, which will take you through step 7 to step 12 and give you the remainder of the tips to help you quit drinking on your own.